Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Boots and Backstraps podcast.
Come on now.
The hunt is on, looking for backstraps, way deep in the woods, tracking in a swamp to a hay field under the harvest moon. When the tags are filled, it's time to switch up our boots. Head down to the honky-tonk, get us a swing dance or two. We're talking about boots and backstraps.
Hey everybody, this is a show where we talk all things hunting and country music.
From the classics through today.
From big bucks to bull elk. We've got it all.
Welcome to another episode of the Boots and Backstraps podcast. I am your host, Shane Michael, and I'm joined in studio, as always, by my wonderfully attractive and talented co-host. I almost gave you the Vanna White there, Mr. Tom Cat.
Come on now. How you doing, Shane?
Come on now. I'm great.
Good to see you again.
You too, sir. I feel like it's been forever since I saw you.
Yeah, not quite.
No.
But we sure are having fun doing our podcasts.
Yeah, a couple this week.
Yeah, I'm enjoying them. And we've had some, as I keep saying, we're having these very colorful guests.
Yeah. That doesn't change today, TK. No, we got a good friend of ours that is quite the performer and might even do a song for us today. A good friend of yours, I know, and a longtime acquaintance of mine as well. And I'm looking forward to just, cutting it up today and talking about country music. And we've had a lot of sessions where we've talked only about hunting and two of our favorite topics, hunting and country music. That's what Boots and Backstraps is all about. Yes, sir, it is. And that today, like I said, is no exception to that rule. I think we've got a great show for the listeners out there and for the people that are watching us on the video platforms as well. And before we get to that, we got to get ourselves a little drink here. Drinky poo.
Oh, it's never too early for a little Jack, right, RJ?
Heck no.
You can never go wrong. Never go wrong.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
That's Jill.
She's rocking her sexy Boots and Backstraps hat.
Yeah.
And a little toast to the morning, to a great show, and to you too.
Minnesota. Yeah. RJ, good to have you here with us.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
It's going to be 60 degrees here in Minnesota today.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. We're in the middle of March, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're from Minnesota, you know this is typically our snowiest month of the year. And we've not had any blizzards yet, knock on wood. And we're not out of the woods yet, but no. The foreseeable forecast all the way to next weekend is supposed to be in the 50s and 40s, and I'll take it.
Today is officially the first day of spring.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting. We did a post on my business page talking about that, and I've had a bunch of people excited about it. So
yeah,
if you get the chance, get outside and enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, with no further ado, let's get this thing rolling. What do you think, TK?
I'm all for it.
All right.
I'm always excited to have these great guests that we have, and today's no exception. Another very colorful guest. Go ahead, Shane. Do the honors.
I was just going to say, this is a buddy of mine going back at least a decade, and we toured the local country music scene eons ago. He's still performing. I was performing, and then realized I didn't have the chops for it, got out, and I was still on microphone, just not singing. I was just talking. Like, talking's more my speed. But he's
good at it.
He's had a quite successful career, both in the cover industry and also now as a solo artist. So help us welcome to the studio, country music star, Mr. RJ Graff.
Come on now.
Oh, good morning. How are we doing today?
Good. It's good to have you, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I got to say, I was pretty excited reaching out to you and saying, hey, do you think we can squeeze you in? Because I know you're a busy guy. And so
it's been a crazy winter, but it's a lot of fun to, obviously hang out with you and TK. Good to be here with you tonight.
It's great to have you here, RJ.
Hey, this is probably the first time you'll hang out with them sober.
That is a good point. All those Monday nights, oh boy.
It was a long stretch, wasn't it?
Yes, It was, but it was a good, fun stretch. And a lot
Monday
of
nights, I
friends.
always remember it was amazing to me that many people would come out on a Monday night, and
It was always the same crew.
I always had to say, don't any of you work in the morning?
Yeah, that's the truth. It was yes.
I typically did by 6 a.m., so I had to sober up fast.
Oh, my goodness. And all those college kids.
Yes.
Don't any of you have school tomorrow?
Right. We're sleeping in.
Yeah, I think they'd take the first or 2 classes off.
Right. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of friends made, We all hung out there, what was it, about a good 2-3 years or more? I mean...
Well, the show ran for 35 years, so you're in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm probably
I don't think anyone was there except for me. I don't think anyone lasted the whole... And me and Big Steve.
Yeah, right, Big Steve. Right.
Man. Well, when the COVID thing wraps up, being an entertainer, I know it's got to be tough. No one's working. I mean, all the entertainers that we know, Shane knows, and I know, whether you're working in Hollywood or whether you're a country entertainer, rock, whatever, nobody's hiring anybody, and it's got to be a long, tough stretch for you folks.
And it's been crazy because obviously last year when March hit, the minute everything shut down, everything was just gone. And I maybe went out 3 times last summer.
Sure.
And it's normally a good every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You go out and you play somewhere. But, yeah, I played, I think, a total of 3 times last summer, maybe once last fall. I didn't go out much last year at all because...
That's a tough deal.
The governor put so many restrictions on the bars and the events and stuff like that, and it made it almost impossible. And
the governor.
Governor Goofy.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, we've been trying to stay away from the politics, but
I know.
You got to sneak a shot in occasionally.
And I try to be, my P's and Q's, but it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're driving the little man right out of the state, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I suppose if we did dive into the politics, we might acquire a lot of listeners because everyone gets their blood boiling on one end or the other. And
that's the
I
whole
know which
reason.
end we're on.
That's the whole reason I don't go on social media anymore. I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
I just can't, and it's just too over the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, RJ, did you find ways of supplementing your income?
I had to get the day job back going again, which it is what it is, but you got to pay the bills.
Got to do what you got to do.
And, I'm just hoping that with the shots and everything like that coming out right now, that hopefully everything eases back up. Obviously, he's easing the restrictions, here in the state, and like North Dakota and Wisconsin are still wide open.
And Texas and Florida.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to see here wide open again. But
sure would be.
But you got a lot of bands that are going across the borders, just trying to fill their schedules up, and just trying to get into that lineup too. You got 30 bands now vying for 2 bars or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's
crazy. I was on that note. I was in Caledonia, Minnesota, muzzleloader hunting this winter.
Okay.
Caledonia has a wonderful, wonderful restaurant called the Good Times.
I think I've heard of that place. Yeah.
Oh, man, it's the best. Great people, great food. I can't say enough about it, being in the industry most of my life.
Right.
Well, we wanted to go there, but it was closed. I mean, we could have got pizza and taken out, but we wanted to go somewhere and eat. A buddy of mine that owns the 10 Point Lodge down there. So he said, well, it's only 20 minutes to La Crosse. I said, well, let's go there. And I'm telling you, Shane, we got to La Crosse and you couldn't get in anywhere.
Yeah.
There was a line
Packed.
and people waiting in their cars for more than a half an hour to get in anywhere. We did find an Asian place. We both like Asian food, and we got into that place. But
you do like especially the Asian buffets, man.
Yeah, I do.
Every time we get together and have lunch, he's always like, hey, let's hit the buffet. I'm like, come on.
Hey.
Don't eat so many egg rolls in a month. And then
What's wrong with that? I like my sweet and sour chicken.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, and the thing about it was they were all Minnesota people.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, Governor. I'm sure if I was a Wisconsin businessman, I'd be sending him thank you cards, and because he just did them wonderful favors and really stuck it to his own people.
Well, yeah, La Crosse, River Falls, Hudson.
Oh, yeah.
They're just packed with Minnesota people.
Yep.
It was ridiculous.
yeah, Big Guys, the barbecue joint.
Yeah.
Went in there probably a month ago or whatever on a Saturday night.
and you couldn't hardly walk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was packed.
Well, I played
an old disc jockey friend of ours. Big guys.
What?
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just
Like
saying
the
I played,
owner? Okay, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Ray.
I was just playing two acoustic shows over in River Falls, and it was packed. I'm just like, what what's the difference between the states? I just don't get it. But then it's all the leadership up top and everything like that. Just,
Yeah.
What bar were you at River Falls?
Shooters.
Shooters, yeah.
Yep. I go over and I play, I think I played 4 times this winter, just an acoustic show, little something to get out of the house, because you go stir crazy just sitting there racking your brain. But yeah, Shooter's been a good buddy of mine. Been playing there about 8 years now or more. I'm sure you've played there before.
Yeah, well, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiny little stage right there.
Postage stamp.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
A couple
barely
weeks
get
ago,
4
we
guys
had
up there.
Matt Methune on, and he's the new proprietor of the Wee Fest.
Yeah.
And we talked quite a bit about River Falls because River Falls, Wisconsin was where we originally planned on doing the Wee Fest.
Oh.
I used to own a club out there, and the building is still there, but it's no longer a club, obviously.
Okay.
But in 1983, I opened that club, and in 1983, we started the Wee Fest. So it was a busy, busy year for me.
Oh, yeah.
And the township of River Falls didn't like the idea. So Detroit Lakes, Minnesota was our second option. So kind of a coincidence that you guys bring up River Falls.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting a lot of play from us.
Yeah, they are. Well, I got to rope this back in here, little boys.
Yeah.
All right.
RJ,
That's
we
why
are
you're here. You're the
roper.
thinker of this group.
Well, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. I think we're screwed. So we do want to, obviously you're here, Ryan. We're here to talk about you and what you do, and
Absolutely.
And so I'd like to start with just kind of you talking about how you got into music. I know, knowing you, that your grandfather is a big influence in your sort of early music passion, and how did that kind of come together?
Well, I grew up, my grandparents always lived in Austin, Minnesota. So I'd go down there every summer and, working on, Great Uncle Vern's farm, or just riding the countryside with Grandpa. We'd be listening to Merle, Willie, Waylon, all the absolute best. And I'd be sitting in their back seat just singing along, and he'd be like, "You're not too bad." I'm a kid. I'm just having fun. I think he's just joking around, because every grandparent, your grandkids, great
Right.
at everything they
Your
do.
participation trophy.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I just, I had fun singing, and loving it out there in the country. And, but then, you grow up, your taste kind of changes a little bit. I kind of got into the Metallicas and the Guns N' Roses, as
We
every
all have
kid
that
does. So got into that a little bit, and then
That's like women saying, "Oh, I had this phase where I dated musicians."
yeah.
Or disc jockeys.
Or disc jockeys. Yeah. Don't do
as
it.
he turns and looks. But no, it's just high school. I got back into the country music. My heart's always been in country music, and that's when the Brooks and Dunns, and one of my personal favorite, Wade Hayes, and those all, the more kind of rocky bluesy edge to it started coming out.
Yeah,
and that was my literal favorite. And then obviously how I've tailored my sound. The Jason Aldeans, the Brantley Gilberts have come out, late 90s, 2000s.
Edgier rock country.
Yeah, and that's kind of become almost my forte. How all my cover bands previously, and kind of how some of my original music's going now is a little bit the edgier rocky side, because I like the energy of it. People dance to that, and they get into it. So
having seen you performed a couple hundred times over the years,
yeah.
You always had that sound with, regardless whatever song you were doing, it was always that sort of like RJ flavor to it.
It's to me, it's the energy. You got to have that energy, and that's what gets you through, a cover night, 4-hour night. You got to have energy, otherwise you just kind of going to sleep on stage, and
you're not getting a call back.
That's just it. Nobody wants to sit there all 4 hours and watch that and be like, yeah, no, but
yeah, certainly country music has the potential to be slow, story songs.
Absolutely.
And I was on that same page with you, RJ. There's a lot of up-tempo country music, fun stuff that people like to dance to, and that's kind of what we based our show on.
Right. Absolutely.
But then there's always that time where people want to slow dance, and
right.
There's so many hundreds of wonderful country ballads.
Absolutely.
I think the backbone of country music, actually.
Yep. Well, just the storytelling.
He's got a great one.
Yeah, and we're gonna, folks are maybe gonna hear RJ perform for us here in a little while.
Absolutely.
You bet.
But 15 years of cover bands right around the same time you were doing it, and then it almost felt like it just ran its course. I mean, it was a lot of fun. You get to go to all these bars, play all these festivals and stuff like that, but it wasn't advancing to where I wanted to be. I wanted to get into the original music. I wanted to see if I could make a name for myself,
right,
outside of just playing everybody else's music. So
just being that fun guy on stage.
Yeah, that wild, crazy guy who drinks a little too much Jack Daniels on stage.
Whoa! Pump the brakes. What is this too much business? I always thought it was just enough.
It's happened.
Oh yeah, we have our moments where Jack and I are fighting.
I remember one show downtown St. Paul right after the World's Toughest Rodeo.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well,
probably had a primer or pregame at the rodeo.
Well, this is some of the old rowdy crew showing up after, bringing, let's do shots of Jack Daniels in the third set. I got a little toasty, and
they're walking them and handing them to you, right?
Oh yeah, and one was like a spicy pickle in my Jack. God.
These are supposed to be your friends.
I know. And they buried me. I lost track of Wagon Wheel lyrics.
Oh, boy.
I got so freaking toasted up. I heard about it from the rest of the band at the end of the night. So what happened to Wagon Wheel? I don't know.
Ask me tomorrow.
No. Pretty much. And they're just like, well, how many Jacks did you have? Yeah. So, yeah, that was a fun night where I had to drink a little bit of water to kind of get back to driving.
Well, how did you get from where you were obviously a country music fan from a young age to like, you know what? I think I'm gonna pick a few strings and get on stage and sing a tune. Like, how do you get to that?
Well, I had been doing like karaoke shows.
Sure.
So I, just going out, having some fun, singing, picking my favorites. Artists.
Yep.
Always been George Strait.
Oh yeah.
You can't go wrong with George. You can't go wrong with George.
No.
But Amarillo by Morning is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Yep.
And it only reached number 2.
Is that right?
How that happened.
I don't know.
That's one of the
like
few.
That's one of my all-time favorite songs too.
Yeah.
I went down to his what was it, the 50 or 60 greatest hits he was doing down in Vegas. I made it to night 2, so I got the back half of the hits, and they were all the ones that I remembered growing up. And he literally came on stage and he's like, I don't know how this didn't make number 1. It only made it to number 2. And he kicked off, and it was Amarillo by Morning.
I'll be darned.
I was scratching my head. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't on the CD, was it? But yeah, it just...
Yeah, more number 1 hits than any artist of any genre in the history of music.
Does he have 61 now? I lost count.
Something like that, yeah.
Once he finally hit 60, I just kind of lost count, but I just... Growing up, listening
He's just piling on now.
Oh, man. But you can't go wrong. You sit there and listen to that voice. It's like, yep, I can sit here and listen to this all day.
Yeah.
And he
have
almost
one of these in your hand.
become a singer.
No, he wanted to be a cowboy.
Yeah, and I forgot what the professional career was. And I think he tried it. And he's doing a little bit of both. And he was going to go for the professional career. And I don't know, someone convinced him, no, you need to keep singing.
Oh, yeah.
Thank goodness he did.
Oh, absolutely.
He is the man.
George Strait had 60 number 1 hits, and he had 86 top 10 hits.
That's
86 top 10 hits. Good Lord.
It's unbelievable.
Man, I just want one. I'd be happy with one.
Right?
What did they say? One good hit? Well, you can tour on that for 10 years.
Right. Yeah,
one-hit
wonders.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be fine.
Absolutely. So tell us about your first gig. Like, when did you get to take it from the karaoke to like legitimate
I came back from my second
No
tour
backtrack.
in
It's just
Iraq.
you and music.
Came back from my second tour in Iraq. And
Thank
I
you
was
for your
just like,
service, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. It's,
man.
just another job. As we always say, it's just another job. Little crazy job, but
I don't know. I'm a house hustler. Something tells me what you did just a little more dangerous.
yeah, I've got scars.
Camel spiders.
Yeah.
Is that a dog? Oh, it's a spider.
Oh, God, nothing scares you more than sitting on the ground, changing a pair of brakes, and all of a sudden there's a camel spider walking within 4 feet of you, and that makes you jump up and scream like a girl. You want to see a bunch of strong...
here
you are.
Yeah.
There he is in
it
the
is
turret,
there.
right?
That is the turret, the 240 Bravo sitting there. That was my home.
Looking mildly confident with that giant sling of ammo.
Yeah. Well, thank God I had that in a full case right behind that little metal plating in the back there. That's where we stashed all our extra ammo. So I had 2 boxes back there as well. So I had plenty of ammo, but I couldn't, what they say is every 200 rounds you're supposed to change your barrel. I only had 1 barrel with me.
Oh, boy. Because it would just get overheated?
Yeah, those things, they get, especially over there, they get hot as hell.
Oh, well, yeah, because what's the average air temperature when you're out there? Over 100, right?
The hottest day that we could find on the thermometer when I was over there reached 156.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Man.
Who needs a sauna?
And I don't know if, there's another couple pictures where right there you see all our armor and everything like that. With all that weight on you and everything like that, it feels basically 200 or more. It's just that damn hot.
Boy, I can't.
You can't even probably
imagine.
think straight.
And you got it. We always had coolers inside the cabs with as much water as we could bring. But by the time you get halfway to where you're going, all the ice is gone and it's lukewarm and everything. So it's, but it still, it was enough to keep you cool. But yeah,
staying hydrated must have been a full-time job.
Yeah, I suffer. I got heat exhaustion over there, and a bunch of us guys did. And it just the first 2 months you don't quite realize it's warm, it's dry, so you don't realize just how much water you're losing. So the bosses, they sit there, and sergeants and officers, they're telling you to hydrate, but you just don't realize how much more you got to hydrate compared to over here. I'm a Minnesota boy. What do I know about deserts and stuff like that?
There you are.
Oh, that terrible stash.
I was going to say, look at that stash.
Oh, God.
For those of you that aren't viewing this, and maybe you're just listening, we've got RJ over in Iraq on his, I believe it. What are you standing on?
That's a turret. That truck right there is an LMTV. We call them light, medium tactical vehicles.
I was going to refer to it as a tank, but
that one's not a tank. It's just a tall truck. The first one was a typical Humvee.
Okay.
So yeah, we us gunners, we had to whatever different kind of trucks. There, I got a saw in my hands, which was a little bit smaller caliber, but still an automatic rifle, and all of our goggles and sunglasses and they were called dappers. We called them angel wings. We hated those things, but they did their jobs. They kept us safe.
Keep you safe. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you again. Like Shane said, thanks for doing that for our country.
Oh, absolutely.
It's great that you're back.
Yeah, I am lucky to be back.
All except one ear.
Yeah, I can't hear crap out of my right ear. Fun day. Fun day. But I did lose. I lost one of my best friends, Joe, over in Afghanistan. He joined up right about the time I was getting out. He joined up, and his old dream was go special forces. I don't know what happened in his schooling, but he ended up getting cycled with the first ID, and that's why I have my tattoo here is all for my buddy Joe. Killed in action in Afghanistan, April 15th. 2011. So it's coming up on 10 years this year. And I'm going to plan on this 15th. I'm going to go with his parents, Jim and Val. We're all going to go out to the Fort Snelling. We kind of make a day of it. All of us close friends and family.
Nice.
So we make the 15th a day of it. And then I know that they also go out on his birthday. I think it's December 1st that they go out there and see him, and we make a day of it. But
sure.
So yeah, that was I was playing a show the day he died. I was playing a show up in Hayward at the casino up there.
Okay.
And a friend of ours, owns the bar that we always hung out and sang karaoke at down in River Grove. And he called me up and he's like, "Hey, did you hear about Joe?" I'm like, "What did he do now?" Expecting, because he's a crazy kid. I'm expecting him, do something stupid and get in trouble. But yeah, that was one of the roughest calls when they told me he was killed in action. And then another mutual friend of ours, John, he was just coming home. He was literally on the plane coming home. I messaged him on Facebook, and he had just landed in Germany, and I had to be the one to tell him. And that was one of the hardest things. You telling the brother, "Hey, we lost our brother."
Yeah, can only imagine.
Boy.
It's cool that you honored his memory, though, with the ink. That's nice.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I've got a whole lot more stories and a whole lot more guys. We'd have to make a month-long session.
We'd have to have a separate show.
Yeah. All the
Can't
guys
imagine
I've
going
lost,
through all of that.
It's
I wish the young people in America, and especially the people that are throwing dirt on our country, knew what it take from the soldiers of Vietnam, the current soldiers, World War II, World War I, what they went through. I mean, they see it in movies, they hear about it, but that doesn't register.
They see happy war, glorified war.
It doesn't resonate with them what actually happens in those wars. So we have the freedom to speak the way we want, the freedom to do this show.
To have all these riots and...
If anything they teach in school, they should teach that.
To dye their hair purple and block a few free... I mean, there we go. Right to the...
I don't know. We could go off on that and probably piss off a lot of people, but I think there's probably a lot more people out there going, yeah, I agree with you. We should teach these kids, and they should know. I mean, I don't know how you do that, but they should know what the sacrifices are so that we can live in the greatest country on the planet.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to your music, my friend.
Yeah.
So first show.
That was sobering. And
first show, where was it? The West Side up in Little Falls, Westy. First ever show, and I wasn't quite ready for it. We had been practicing and everything like that.
How many piece were you at that point?
That very first show, we were supposed to be a 5-piece, but two of the band members had a previous engagement with their previous bands, finishing up before they came to us, and it was a 4-piece band, the old Iron Horse, and I wasn't, nothing prepares you for the nerves.
Is this Rusty and Billy and like the whole crew?
No, this is Russ, this is Mike May, and Adam Durand on bass.
Adam Durand.
Yeah, Ginger Jesus.
Of Devin Worley fame.
Yes, so, it was just the four of us, and nothing, you could sit there and do karaoke, not need the screen and everything like that, but nothing prepares you for the nerves when you hit the stage in front of people and you're just like, whoa, I'm on a live stage and I don't have a screen to fall back on. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And this is before the tablets and the iPads and all that stuff. So if you needed something, you had that big old clunky book. I hated that book with a passion, but you had to have it just for reference in case you got lost. And that first night, it all the newer stuff kind of came real good, but I couldn't believe it. I was so mad at myself. I screwed up Mama Tried. A Merle Haggard song, a song I've been listening to for 20 years or more, and I screwed it up.
Did Merle get a hold of you and say, hey?
Oh, he gave me a good swift backhand, but it was one of those nights, that first show, it's going to be a rough night. You just try and get through it as best as you can and make people happy. And I tried. Hopefully I accomplished that, I think, because, I've been doing this now on the road for about 16 years. But, plus that was back when we were doing big old wedges at the front of the stage. You can't hear nothing because this guy's wedge is over blasting this guy's wedge.
Yeah,
and I can't
crazy.
hear nothing here. So, yeah. Once in-ears came out, man, was that a godsend.
Right, exactly.
But,
get your own exact mix.
And I can block them out.
Yeah.
But the first night at the Westie, that's man, that's a long time ago. Talk about bringing back the old memories there, Shane.
So Iron Horse is, aside from the Hog's Breath stuff, that's where he and I really connected, because he was lead for Iron Horse and I was lead for
North Gone
South, another country project that ended up turning into Made in Dixie. And we talked about that one of our first shows, actually, that evolution of how it went from North Gone South to Made in Dixie, and Jesse Becker and all those guys came in and took over. And now it's
me and one of your old guitar players were talking about that the other day. Your old North Gone South days.
Brandon Backstrom.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Brandon, what a good dude.
Absolutely.
And talented too. I mean, this guy's like, people talk about in the music industry, these people that are like music encyclopedias in their brain, like Mark McGrath.
Oh yeah.
And Brandon's like that. Like, if you just throw out some random country fact, he could just go off about whatever artist and whatever year and whatever album and what room in their house they were writing it in. Like, the guy's amazing.
We'll sit there and talk like that during those radio breaks. We'll sit there and talk like that, and then all of a sudden, oh crap, I'm about 10 seconds behind. Because he's got to pull up the next song, and you forgot all about it because we're sitting there talking. But you literally, and then you could sit there a whole hour or two after you're done, and just go off. It was, he's a good guy to talk to. He's a lot of fun to talk to.
He is. So. He's a good dude. I think we're definitely gonna. I think we've got him on the list up there to get him in here to talk about the homegrown show and
absolutely,
and all that stuff. So, so then Iron Horse. What was was it like right from Iron Horse to RJ?
No, Iron Horse. I took a little bit of a break, and then Russ and April decided they were going to go down to Tennessee.
Yep.
Russ wanted to chase his dream and be a drummer for somebody as big as he could, and that was completely fine. So we then in turn decided to kind of keep the name but change it a little bit, and we turned it into Iron Horse Group. It was me, Christina Tayschafer, Darren, I forget his last name, Helsel. But we kind of kept on with the Iron Horse, but we called it Iron Horse Group.
Sure.
And, after I think it was about 8 months, I just got tired, so I needed a little bit of a break.
Sure.
So
the road can wear on you.
I walked away, and that was about, I can't even tell you how long of Iron Horse, between the factions that I had been there. I think it's about 8 years. But it just got tiring, so I needed a break, and then I took a break, and I joined up with
I think they kind of split up after that, right?
They changed it. They call them Whiskey Stone or something like that now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they decided to change it and get away from the, I don't know if they're doing originals. I honestly don't know. I didn't keep contact, which is something I wish I did, but they changed it to Whiskey Stone. They're doing their thing now, which is good. But after that, I joined up with a crew called Unbroken, and that's another one where it's kind of a head scratcher. And what was I thinking? But I met one of my really good friends, Haas, in that band.
Yep.
And Haas is
Jason Hoskins. Yeah, he's good.
He's a slinger. He's a slinger, and he's his favorite. I think his favorite kind of music is 80s rock.
Sure.
So that's where when we started really rocking stuff up in like Unbroken and Copperhead Creek, which is the next band.
Yep.
It was heavy rock feel, heavy high energy, Jason Aldean kind of music and stuff like that. And that, his tone was perfect for it, and that was his style and his.
See, I always thought Copperhead Creek was more just like Gen 1 RJ.
Yeah, it pretty much was. I mean, but
that was when you were really. People are like, "Whoa, this dude's like on the map."
Well, I just kind of let it free.
Yeah,
let go. I'm just like, screw it. They're gonna like me. They're gonna like me. If they're not, they're not. I don't care.
And anymore. We do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what helps. But yeah, I mean, those first, you're testing yourself. You're trying to figure out what works and what your sound is. And then once you finally find it, it's like, this is it. Don't like it. Don't care. And you just kind of stay down that path. And that's, finding Haas was basically step one to that. And then Ben, the other guitar player and fiddle player, we had tried out a bass player, and Ben came with just to hang out. Well, he picked up the guitar, halfway through practice and started slinging. We're like, oh no, he's coming too. I mean,
you got a twofer.
He was that good, Yeah.
A twofer in one audition.
Yeah. Because Billy was our, not the Billy you're thinking of.
Not Billy Hansen.
No. Verkley, I think is his last name. But He's our original pictures. He's the one on that stand-up bass.
Okay.
Those old Creek pictures.
Yeah.
He'd be hanging on that old stand-up bass. He'd literally be standing on the stand-up bass.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd be sitting there playing. I'm just like, how do you not come off the end of this show sore as hell trying to bend over like that? It's just, but he was only at about 5'6", so he's a tiny dude. So on that, it didn't hurt so bad. Where on me 6'2", trying to do that,
I don't think you can climb on a bass.
Yeah, no. I'd probably either go through it or I'd
Crush it.
Get a nice back spasm or something. Trying to bend over.
Well, especially at your age,
Oh, hey! Don't let the gray and the beard fool you.
I was just gonna say, I remember a day when you didn't have any of that Santa Claus in the beard there.
Man, that's been coming on lately, and I don't get it. I don't like it.
Well, get used to it.
Yeah. So
I know. Well, this all used to be all red. Come on.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to listening to RJ perform here.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah. So I was just gonna say I wanted to transition into your newest single,
okay,
which is "Turn It Up," and just let you kind of talk about how that project came together, because I know it was a real sort of like adventure for you, bringing in the other featured artist on it.
Absolutely.
And it definitely like a deviation from what we all knew and you in this like real strict country.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I love it. It's a great track.
I figured that was the one I'm gonna play live. I'm actually gonna play that one live. But if they wanted to hear the version with Benedict Kane in it, they can go online.
Here you go.
There's the picture. Yeah, for those who can't see it, the song is called "Turn It Up." And it's the original writer of the song was my producer, Greg Huberty, which I think you know.
Yep.
Okay, I know we've all run in the same circles, but it's all one of those I still got to ask because, same circles after 15 years. But
right,
yeah, Greg wrote it a while back. He did record it, and he's like, I don't know if he just didn't like it or like the way it was recorded or something like that, but he's like, you know what, let's see if you record it. And so we recorded it and we put a whole bunch of extra bells and whistles in it, and it was all completed, and we were going to release it. It was technically going to be the third song out, because the next song that we're working on now is called New Me, and it was kind of a play on Heartbreak. But the whole COVID thing hit, and we just kept getting pushed back farther and farther and farther, and we're like, you know what, we've got Turn It Up done. It's sitting there. Why don't we just release it? So we're getting it all polished up like that. And then a good buddy of mine, Benedict Kane, a.k.a. Rio is his real name, but I give him crap about that. But he's an Air Force vet, and he lives out in Maryland. And he's like, what if we put a little twist on it? I'm like, a little twist on it? What are you talking about? It's like, what if we did a little hip hop on it? I'm like, not my forte. But
you're like the Lax?
Yeah. I'm like, not my forte, but send me a little something. I want to hear it before I just put it on, my song.
Yeah.
So he sent it over. I'm like, I actually really dig that. And I'm, like I said, I'm not a huge hip hop guy. I grew up in Merle, Willie, and Waylon. Those are my kind of guys. So like my original song, Heartbreak, is more my personal favorite kind of music.
Yeah. For those folks that haven't heard it yet, you got to get to rjgraff.com and listen to that single. He's got the link right there on the homepage for Heartbreak, and it's fantastic.
And I'll make
great country ballad.
And I'll put Turn It Up right underneath it this afternoon. I still can't believe I put that.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you know this, RJ, but when we go to break here in a little bit, we're going to actually play Heartbreak for the folks that'll be in the video.
Cool. Very cool.
So they'll get both songs in this episode.
Absolutely.
That'll be great. I look forward to that.
Yeah. So he sends you a sample, and you're like, yeah, we can work with this.
Yeah. And so we ended up. He did the final cut. Greg put it in the song, and then it's the mixture of like the me that everybody knows, the rock and country, and then a little bit of twist in there and the hip hop, and it's been going over really well, and people love it. And
it's a great track.
And it's funny because my dad, he's a Dale Watson guy. He loves Dale Watson. He loves the Metropolitan, as Dale Watson would call it.
Yeah, he's great.
So my dad loves that kind of stuff, and my dad listened to that song. He's like, I like that. I'm like, I thought you were going to be the first person to tell me what the hell is turn that shit off. I thought for sure he's going to be the first one to tell me what the hell. But no, he loved it, and I'm like, all right, well, if I can convince you, then obviously I think I've got
Might
a
have
pretty
something
decent
there.
song on my hands. All right. Yeah, and then just a few months back, I went and saw Brandon, and he released it for us and stuff like that, and then let us play our third song, which is coming out here pretty soon. But yeah, it's been going over really well, which is good to hear, because you're always nervous when you release a song, especially like Heartbreak. When you release a song, you wonder how people are going to perceive it, especially something so personal to you, because Heartbreak literally was a life story of mine. It was
it's a real country song.
My breakup with my ex, and sitting there at 2:00 in the morning, just kind of pondering life and trying to figure out just what in the hell's going on. And the whole first verse was like 2 to 2:30 in the morning, just sitting there, just kind of words going through your head, and you just write it down. And so I'd written that whole first verse down, sent it off to Greg, and he's like, he didn't understand it right away. He's like, "What is this?" I'm like, I think I got the first verse to a new song coming. He kind of brushed it off, and then all of a sudden the next day, he texts me back, "Dude, I think we have something here." I'm like, "You just told me last night." You just told me last night. It wasn't nothing good. But once, I think he was just tired or something like that. He hadn't slept yet. But once he finally got looking at it, we literally, I went in there that night, and 3 days later, we had Heartbreak written. And that was, for our first song, to write one in 3 days was just mind-blowing. I'm like, is it really this easy all the time? No. Yeah, well, we figured that out in song 3 here, just how fun it is. I think we're on month 3. Just trying to make sure all the pieces and all the words just fit perfect. As perfect as can be. Let's just leave it that way. But it can be a struggle, and like Heartbreak, it can be easy. It's just a matter of how things work out that way.
Well, let's have you grab your strings. I'll get your.
All right.
Give you a little room.
It's amazing how many classic songs have been written in 20 minutes on the back of a napkin. Absolutely. You hear those stories all the time.
Yeah. Like Eminem, the rapper, his famous notebook. Everybody knows about the notebook. He's got this little mini notepad he carried around with him for years and years and years. And you can't find any open space in this notebook anywhere, because anywhere he could find space to write a word or a phrase or a sentence or, an entire verse, like RJ just said, he'd write it in there, and then he would use it at some point in a song, because it would just pop in his head, and he'd get his notebook out and write it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, because, well, even if you, what is it, Toby Keith at Broken Bridges.
Yeah.
You watch that one scene where he's literally sitting there on the deck, got his little 3-inch pencil and his little notebook there, just writing words down and playing chords and stuff like that. Yeah. But it literally is like that. And for me, I had a notebook, and I kind of had a journal all throughout my second tour, and I just got phrases upon phrases and stuff like that, but it's all military, where and I've got some songs that are military based, but I didn't want my whole album to be like that, because then I'm kind of turning off to people over here and just focusing on the military, where I'm working towards an EP where I want to have a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah.
And one of the big, one of the songs I'm kind of working towards right now is a song called Demons, where it's, all of us, we battle some kind of PTSD. And this is what I do for me to get past that.
Sure.
Because for me, I just, once I picked up the guitar and just started playing, just, at home and, my bedroom and stuff like that, it just helped me clear my head enough, to get through the next day and the next day. It's just, and then I've got a lot of brothers and stuff like that where they need other things, where we've got a lot of these veteran organizations, they have hunting and they have ice fishing, stuff like that.
Right.
Or,
we had a whole crew at Bowfest just this last year. The campsite right next to us was a whole group of vets that were there on a sponsored trip through the festival and through a local veteran organization. And you have to forgive me because I forget it now. But
is it HHO?
Texas was with them.
Okay.
So I'm not sure which one.
It might have been Hometown Heroes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Hometown
And
Beers
they
Outdoors.
they came and they had this huge 6-seater side by side that they got permission to drive around on the grounds, and we're all like, "Oh!" The rest of us got to walk everywhere.
Well, if you get a bunch of vets together, especially if they're drinking and they're driving something like that.
Oh, they were drinking.
Yeah, look out.
They were having some fun.
I know.
A lot of them were new archers too, which was kind of fun to sit and chat with them and give them a little advice. And
yeah, I haven't picked up an arch in 10 years or more. And I love that little video you had on with Matt where your arrow popped right out of your bow.
Oh yeah. Can I just tell you that there's a little, because we haven't, that was like a cut up that Danny put out there as a promo for the podcast before we release any episodes. And there is an actual story for that.
Okay.
So we had planned this. I know, it's so embarrassing. I am an actual archer, even though it doesn't look like it. So we had this session planned to do some photos and little video clips just to do some promotion for the podcast. This is way before we filmed the first episode. And for whatever reason, when I ran out that day, I didn't bother to grab my bow.
Oh, no.
I just wasn't thinking about it.
Right.
So we got to the archery shop up the street here, who we know really well, and TK had his bow, and then Danny and Jill are like, "Why didn't you bring your bow, knucklehead?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So it was Tom's bow, and he's a shorter draw than I am.
Oh.
So I pulled it back like I was going to get it into an anchor, and I got it 3/4 the way, and the arrow just fell through. And the first thing out of my mouth is shit.
He got it a little further than 3/4 of the way.
Yeah. No, I was watching.
There is a wall there.
7/8.
Yeah. I was watching the video, and just the look on his face, like, huh?
It literally had never happened to me before. So I was like, at first I'm like, why did that? And then of course it hit me like he's a shorter draw.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
For any archer, when you pull your bow back, you literally just have that arrow tip sticking through the front.
Right.
So if you're even a 1/2 inch short, I think he's like 1 inch shorter than I am in draw.
Yeah.
Then
28.
Well, just that little
29.
bit. Yeah. Just that little bit will throw you off.
You bet.
Yeah, just enough for it to fall through and embarrass me.
All right.
And of course, Danny's sitting there with her camera like, we got to get this on film.
Let's put the brakes
of course
on.
She gets that, right?
Yeah.
Let's put the brakes on Shane's backpedaling here. And
Yeah, let's hear it turn it up.
let's go forward. And ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to RJ Graff.
All right. Well, with the whole COVID and everything, I haven't had a few shows, so it'll be a little rusty, but we're going to have some fun with it. Dust trail going on a back road about 1/4 mile from Crow River Creek. 10 legs waiting to work, weak silver blue lights at the corner fleet. The boys pull up in their fancy trucks and the girls in their daddy's Jeeps. Got a little honey maker, a hottie high breaker, come on, go riding me. If you got a big truck, jack it up. If you got a cold beer, drink it up. If you got some country, turn it up, turn it up. If you got a tractor, crank it up. If you got a bonfire, light it up. If you're getting redneck, turn it up, turn it up. Getting buck wild wearing mossy oak, tearing up the alfalfa field. Tailgates dropping the bonfires high like a coon dog on a trail. Haley Joe's dancing, mama don't know, stuck out here raising hell. Now there's just one rule here, anything goes, and what goes will never tell. If you got a big truck, jack it up. If you got a cold beer, drink it up. If you got some country, turn it up, turn it up. If you got a tractor, crank it up. If you got a bonfire, light it up. If you're getting redneck, turn it up, turn it up. This is for the country girls in the backyards. This is for the country boys in the big truck. This is for the country crowd getting down. So come on, come on, come on. If you got a big truck, jack it up. If you got a cold beer, drink it up. If you got some country, turn it up, turn it up. If you got a tractor, crank it up. If you got a bonfire, light it up. If you're getting redneck, turn it up, turn it up. Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
Yes.
I shortened it up a little bit from the recorded version, but that's because I don't have
great.
Benedict Kane here.
Yeah, you don't have
sing the rap part.
You don't have that rap spot in there.
I like the lyrics.
I was waiting to see. Okay, when we get to the bridge, is he going to rap or let
No.
that
I was thinking about doing the solo and everything. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it go. I'm just gonna take it easy today.
Yeah, because he might text you, be like, "Hey, man."
Well, I'm sure I'm gonna hear from Greg in about 20 minutes. Why didn't you do it? No. I don't rap for nothing.
Right.
So there's a little rap in that song, huh?
A little bit of a hiccup.
Because Benedict Kane, the guy he was talking about, that did the song. with him.
So he's an Air Force vet. He's out of Maryland, kind of the Baltimore area. He's in a band called Made to Rise. It's basically it's a veteran rock band right now, and they call themselves the most patriotic rock band. They have a rocked up version of the Star Spangled Banner, which I freaking love, and then a bunch of other like my next song, Demons, that I'm kind of working on. A lot of just veteran songs and stuff like that.
So when you were doing covers, what was your favorite? Amarillo by Morning?
Honestly,
that's a good one to cover.
No kidding.
What was one of my favorites? I like doing a lot of Jason Aldean songs, but honestly, one of my very favorite was it's a George Strait song, but I just can't remember the name of it.
Having a little brain fart there.
Yeah, it's there's so many of them that you love, but it's I think one of my personal favorites though is We Really Shouldn't Be Doing This.
Oh yeah,
that it's kind of like that. What would you call it? A triple step? Not quite.
Yeah, triple step.
But I just energy, but it's still that storytelling. Doing something we shouldn't be doing.
Those brain farts, they come on quite more frequently the older you get.
Especially
if you smell anything, it's he forgot something over there.
Well, especially you go out overseas and you hit a few roadside bombs. You get scattered brains, so it makes it even worse because you're trying even harder to remember, and it's just like it was just there. Where'd it go? And you take a half an hour and finally comes to you, but by then the conversation's 10 miles on the road.
The reason I was asking you, RJ, is because I really enjoyed listening to that, and I was wondering if you might want to throw in another one in there, maybe a cover that you used to do that you really, really enjoyed doing.
Well, before we get to that, before we get to that, boys, we do got to keep the lights on, so we got to do a little commercial break here.
All right,
and give RJ a chance to catch his breath now that we've grilled him on half of his life. And so in the commercial break, as we mentioned, we're going to play his other single, Heartbreak. I think you guys are going to love it. I love a good country ballad, TK.
Absolutely.
Love me some steel guitar. Absolutely love me some steel guitar.
Yeah, got to have lap steel to be country, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Stick around right after the break, RJ Graff, right back.
I love you. After all that we've been through, I'll miss you. And I know you'll miss me too. I wish that we could have made it work. Nobody said it was gonna be easy or how much it would hurt. Why does there have to be heartbreak? Guys like me don't take this very well. Why do I have to see your face? Every time I lay myself down, it's like hell. Dreaming of you, thinking of you, wishing you were here on the right of this bed. Why does there have to be heartbreak? Well, I packed up and I'm headed down the road. Never thought I'd ever walk outside your door. You didn't say much, sat lonesome in your eye. I wonder, darling, is this for sure goodbye? by. Why does there have to be heartbreak? Guys like me don't take this very well. Why do I have to see your face? Every time I lay myself down, it's like hell. Dreaming of you, thinking of you, wishing you were here on the right of this bed. Why does there have to be all these sad, sad songs on the radio? That old saying, if you love her, gotta let her go. Maybe I just don't wanna let her go. Why does there have to be heartbreak? Guys like me don't take this very well. Why do I have to see your face? Every time I lay myself down, it's like hell. Dreaming of you, thinking of you, wishing you were here on the right of this bed. Why does there have to be heartbreak? Why does there have to be heartbreak?
Boots and Backstraps is proudly brought to you by Homes by Shane. Making your move with the Homes by Shane team means an unparalleled customer service experience. That level of service is the foundation of this RE/MAX Results referral-based business. Our driven team of experts communicate with their clients every step of the way, ensuring a memorable experience from the first conversation through your closing day. Go to homesbyshane.com for more information. Let's get you home. If you would like to sponsor the Boots and Backstraps podcast, or you have an interest in joining our team, send us an email to bootsandbackstrapspodcast@gmail.com. Welcome back from the break, y'all. We are still in studio with RJ Graff.
Come on,
so
now.
welcome back.
Well, I'm back for round 2, right in.
Had to put your strings away, because as was pointed out by our brilliant statistician, Kyle, that if we have you play anything that's not yours, we're probably going to get a copyright strike. And
Copyrights. Can't handle that.
no, and people don't get to listen to anything we've done in this podcast.
That's right.
They zap
Don't
it.
want that, but well, definitely next time I come on, I'll definitely have a bunch more songs. We'll have a lot more fun. And like Tomcat was telling me, I'm the first one to play live, so hey, I got that going for me.
You do.
Yeah.
In the
Great.
annals of Boots and
Absolutely.
Backstraps history. There we go. So which show was this one?
This is El Rancho Mañana last summer. It was their Wild West show. So they have a Wild West weekend, and then Friday nights they have the bands and stuff like that, and then Saturday is their Wild West show, and you know they have I don't know if it's like a Jesse James kind of scene, but it's old school Wild West, you know, kind of a riding and fake guns and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun, and this stage, it's one of my cover pictures on my Facebook page, and it's just a huge stage with a huge couple American flags. In the
Kyle, can you go
background.
to his Facebook page? I want to see this picture.
Yeah, it's not my logo. It should be one of my my 2 pictures there, but
Massive stage.
yeah, and with COVID last year, it sucked because we had to keep it to 250 people, which we may have stretched to like 500. What? I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
But
That's the whiskey talking. Don't worry.
yeah, but we you know, it was nice to have at least somewhat of a crowd and it was one of the few shows I had last summer, and it was honestly my most favorite one because everybody was just like, you know what, screw it, we're gonna have fun, we're just gonna let loose, and yeah, everybody in the crowd was letting loose, having fun, and they're literally there all weekend to ride their horses because it's basically it's a big horse riding, you know, it's a weekend where you go.
Is it a
horse
rodeo
riding
or
and stuff
expo
like
or
that.
what?
No, it's just a campground.
Oh, okay.
So he literally, you know, he's got some big pens where you bring your horses, you put them in the pen, you know.
Yeah.
when you're camping and stuff like that. And he's got plenty of land for, you know, the horse campers and stuff like that. And,
Where was it, RJ?
what is he? He's kind of up by what is it, Richmond? Up by Sox Center.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact name.
That's
of
west.
It's northwest.
Northwest, yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting off.
Wow.
Right there. That's it, right there.
Oh, that's a cool stage.
So you see the two big flags and two up top, and the prisoner of war flag up top. But yeah, it was a really cool stage, and that was just the beginning of the night, where because everybody's still sitting up on top of the hill.
So are those fans with the T-shirts or security?
No,
because these two girls down here look like they're having a good time.
Yeah, they're all having a great time. But it happened to be played on Friday, and as we in the military call Red Friday, and my ex just so happened to be the headliner that night when I was opening up for her, and that was before we kind of broke everything off, and she started dating a new guy and everything like that. So
Sure.
it made the night a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I bet.
But it you know, it is what it is. You know, we all grow up, move on, and everything like that. And but she sells Red Friday shirts like I do now too. But she had them there at the show, and all the people on the dance floor right there are basically all the Wild West workers.
Okay.
So everybody that's going to be performing on Saturday, they all had a Red Friday shirt, and that was just kind of their thing for that night. It was Red Friday night.
Okay.
So they were all wearing her shirts, and they're all dancing and having fun, and yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun.
How long was your set that night?
We ended up playing for almost 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's just about a full show.
We're planning on about 90, maybe a little bit over, or 100. 180, maybe a little bit over. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But yeah, no, we kept getting one more song. I turn around, my ex is in the back. They're getting pissed off. She wants to play and get the hell out of there, and they keep calling me for one more song. I'm like, I'm giving them one more song.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. What do you want me to do? They want me to play another one. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I guess she was fuming pretty good in the back there, but and I'm always a professional kind of guy, so I'm trying to just I'm trying to make everybody happy. Where I'm trying to keep and it was the owner literally coming up on stage, inciting the crowd for one more song. So it's just like, okay,
you're in a bad spot there.
I got the
you?
owner here, one more song. Next artist, get the hell off my stage. What the hell do I do? I want to come back next year. Okay, I'll play one more.
You know what's so funny? Not to like shift gears completely, but I understand this experience that you have. I mean, obviously as a musician, but also as a realtor, because I've said that's my hustle now.
Right.
And we have these, when you go to see a house, you're my client. We have an approved showing time.
Okay.
And we go and we're supposed to be in there at 2:00, and the agent that has the block before us is still in there at 2:05 or 2:10, and we're standing out there like, look, you a-hole.
Get the hell
This is our time. Get out of there.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things where you're trying to be professional.
Yeah.
You want to make them, But yeah, it was a hell of a fun night. We had a lot of fun.
Do you guys? I assume you stayed out there. You camped.
We didn't that night because we ended up having a show the next night somewhere else. I can't remember exactly where it was.
So packed up and get on the road.
We did. A few guys did stay that night. We didn't have some. My drummer wasn't my regular drummer. He was filling in for the night. He's Rob with Stone Daisy filled in that night on drums.
Okay.
And he's a hell of a drummer. Man, was he hammering on those drums that night. I love that. I love a good solid.
You feed off that, right?
Oh, and his kick drum was so loud and so just. Yeah.
Right up the old poop chute there.
The few times if you
Tom, do you know what a poop chute is?
If you go on my Facebook page, if you go on my Facebook page, you see those subs right in front of me. I'd walk on there a couple of times to get close to the crowd, and they about rattled my brain and my ears right out of my head. I was like, "Whoa, he's really kicking loud tonight. Let me get back on stage." But yeah, no, I love It was just one of those nights where everybody let loose, everybody had fun, and you could tell because the crowd was digging it too.
Yeah.
It's one of those nights where just everything was just working. It was awesome.
Shane, I am not going to Google search that term.
The poop chute. It's probably better if you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure it needs to be Googled. That's
I thought that was fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I think so.
So yeah, no, it's just that was a fun weekend. That was a lot of fun, and
looks like a fun venue.
Well, you're having a good show when like the staff is out there dancing and having a good time.
Absolutely. And then he also has, I think he's saying late August, September, he has a huge bluegrass festival up there too. And he had, who's the one, I can't remember his name off the top of my head now. But huge bluegrass guy, and he was in the Constant
Steve Martin?
Sorrows. Constant Sorrows.
Oh, yeah. The Soggy Bottom Boys.
Yeah.
What is his name? I know you're talking about.
He was there.
He was there. He
wow.
performed in that bluegrass festival. I mean, the bluegrass festival I got there.
We all know who
you're
talking about.
Yeah, I just can't pick
name.
his name out of a freaking wet paper bag right now. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the band was the Soggy Bottom
Something
Boys.
Station. Well,
Union Station.
Union Station.
Yeah.
Union Station.
Yeah.
That was her thing.
But what the hell is that?
But the lead singer of that Union Station.
Yeah. And
He's
it's one of those
really famous.
And it's one of those names where, like, the minute we start talking about something else, I'm just gonna like blurt it out and be like, "This guy."
Kyle, have it up for us.
Yeah,
here.
Get the Google going. That's
lead singer of Union Station.
why we love Kyle.
Skaggs. Isn't that who it is?
Ricky Skaggs?
Is it not Ricky
No.
Skaggs? No.
No, he's not with Union Station. But Ricky Skaggs is an amazing. We had him at the Wee Fest. We also had Ricky Skaggs at a Spirit Fest that we used to do up in Detroit Lakes, same venue. Mm-hmm. For about 5 years, we did a Christian music festival. We had Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith, Ricky Skaggs, and it was funny. Ricky Skaggs is up there telling a Presbyterian joke, and down south they get those a little bit more than they do up here.
Did you ever have Toby Mac up there?
Yeah, and
he's amazing.
Ricky Skaggs told a joke, and he's giggling, and nobody got it.
Oh,
and
no.
He's like, I think maybe I'm a little too far north for you folks to understand this.
That's about right, too.
Loved Ricky Skaggs.
Oh, he's a good
We got
guy.
any luck in there?
Still digging into it. I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right.
Yeah, so I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the events that you've played. We were talking about this one,
Absolutely.
but maybe some of the memories that you've had that really stood out. Because I know, like I, and probably to the fourth power, you've played a lot of shows over the years. So what are some of the fun memories you have, or maybe crazy things you've experienced?
I've going over to Wisconsin is always fun. We play Turtle Lake Casino, and opening up for the likes of Winona Judd, who I've grown up all my life.
Tom, you ever heard of her?
Crazy idolizing, and Randy Hauser and Phil Vassar, those guys over there. It's a nice intimate little concert venue where you're all in the same kind of backstage area. So you guys,
Randy's a good dude.
So you actually get to talk to him. Randy was the only one I didn't really get to talk to, though, because he's kind of stayed on his bus. But it'd been a long tour, and he was really tired. They literally pulled in for a one-pop show.
I did shots with him at Caboose eons ago.
Yeah.
When he was kind of like just starting to get on the scene.
Yeah. And, of course, it was like a month later, my ex is sitting down there with George Strait and him down in Texas.
No way.
You guys suck. But
wow.
Anyways, but no, it was a fun night, and the fact that he took the time out of his show to actually thank my band for opening for him.
Wow.
No other band had ever done that there.
That's
before.
nice. Professionals.
It's just it, right? And I'd thrown his name out all night long because obviously it's his concert, so I want to make sure the focus is on him.
Yeah,
it's his night.
Yeah,
and that was just before his Magnolia album came out, so he was promoting the hell out of Magnolia, and it was a lot of fun because it was kind of like a stripped down compared to what we had seen him before.
Sure.
You'd see him at Rockwoods and stuff like that, where you had the whole 10-piece band up there, and it was really just punching you right in the face.
Yeah.
This was just a small 5-piece band. He was playing guitar. He had a lead guitarist, a bass player, a keyboardist, and the drums. That was it.
Which is funny for you to say small 5-piece because that's like the normal size band for this market.
Right. And that was my old band. It was a 5-piece band.
Yeah.
But for some of the big guys, they have at least 8 guys in their band.
Oh, the Nationals are loaded.
But when he showed up, and it was kind of a stripped down, just really cool concert, and he was really bringing it that night. You could tell he was kind of hoarse at the beginning because he wasn't as strong, but about midway through, all of a sudden, going out with my boots on when he goes for those high notes, he was pushing it, and it was really coming through. I'm like, yep, he's bringing it.
He found a second win.
Yeah, he's got the voice back. He's bringing it now. But yeah, just opening up for those guys is a lot of fun, and just getting to say hi to Winona Judd, another idol of mine. You see her when you're 10 years old and in the Judds with her mom, and then she's kind of out on her own. One thing that I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways, is some of these artists have these monitors on stage with their lyrics on them. I'm like,
you guys have monitors on stage with what?
Their lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, you guys have been singing these songs for how long? Why do you need these monitors?
Oh, they do.
I know.
We all have brain farts. We had one earlier.
And I'm one to admit I have brain farts, but I'll literally sit there on stage and be like, wait. We got to start this over. I'll just call it right out. We got to start it over.
Yeah.
Because, I'm going to mess up. I'm human. I don't care. But
I had a really good one night. We were playing Chisago Roadhouse.
Oh,
when it was open. And this is just a tiny little club, TK.
I know where it is.
Off of 8th there.
Is that the one with the you go in the main door and the stage is right off to the right?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yep. I played
It's
there
like
before.
stage. It's like basically a hallway.
Yeah.
And stage on one end and then bar in the middle.
Right.
And it's all kind of like, there isn't seating on the side because there's barely enough room between the bar stools and the wall. Like you just walk through.
Yeah.
It's a new operation now.
Yeah. They've been working on it for a while.
Yeah,
Every time I've driven past it,
I
they're
haven't been
remodeling.
in there, but it looks great.
Yeah. So anyway, we're playing there one night, and the first track that we got to do is now I'm having a brain fart on it.
It happens.
We're going to popularize that phrase.
Brain fart.
Anyway, I got this.
Hey, TM,
Yeah.
You're right.
Anyway, so I'm sitting there, and it's what is it now?
Sorry, I can't
Morgan.
help you.
Killing me.
Craig Morgan?
Craig Morgan, thank you.
Okay.
So the opening line is, I'm a son of a third-generation farmer, right?
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Farmer's daughter.
International Harvester.
International
thank you.
Harvester, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, why am I drawing a blank on this? I sang the song 1,000 times. Well, here we go.
Yep.
I can't tell you how good this makes me feel.
So we're sitting up on stage, and like the band comes in, and it's got this real mellow intro, right?
Right, and then kind of ramps up.
Yeah, a little bit of like guitar in the background or whatever, and it's this timing thing, right? You're feeling the timing, and you come in with the opening line, and my spot comes and it goes because I can't remember the damn lyrics. And then they're like, you can feel the band is like, okay, he forgot, and then they bring it back around.
Right.
And it comes, hey, it goes again.
Oh,
I'm just At this point, they've been playing this same 16, for
I've done that a few times.
what seems like an hour, but it was probably just 2 minutes or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
But at this point, people in the bar are starting to look over at the stage like, is he going to sing something?
This is a hell of an intro.
Yeah,
what
and
the heck?
And actually, I'm looking at Double B. I'm looking at Backstrom, and I'm like, I can't remember the words.
Brain fart. What the hell?
And then he looks over at Jeremy, the lead player, and he looks back at me, and I'm like, oh, they're going to leave me hanging. Like, just mouth something to me, please. Just give me a little help, please.
Yeah.
And then Brandon finally is like, and I was like, okay, thank you. And then it came back around, and I jumped in, and I was
making you sweat just for cause.
And I used to come into that one like pretty aggressively, really belt it out there to get people's attention. Like, okay, we're punching in now. I was like all meek, like,
well, how long was that? How long was that your opening song? So I remember you doing that at the
a long time. A year probably.
Yeah, I remember the bar in Woodbury, and that's where I went and saw you because that's where my parents live.
Yeah,
I went and saw you there. I can't remember what the hell was the name of that bar. Was it Old Mexico then, or it changed from there?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But, yeah, I remember you guys were playing there that night, and I popped in for a little bit. And I remember seeing that song, and, yeah, it wasn't that night, because I know you punched through that night. But
yeah. It was the worst.
I remember hearing that as the opening song. I'm like, wait, how long did you guys open with that one?
Yeah, probably at least a year we played that one as our intro, because it was a really nice transition. It didn't have a really aggressive opening in it where it would shock people.
Well, that's just it. Trying to find that one song where you can like either build into or just punch them right down the throat or at the first song.
Dan Tominski?
I don't think so.
No. That's the lead singer for who?
Union Station.
No, it's not Union Station. Look up Soggy Bottom Boys.
But Union Station is his band.
Yeah. I'm thinking
That's not the right guy.
Well, is Skaggs a
Ron
blonde-haired
sounds-
guy?
It's too bad we don't have a telephone. Someone could call in or text us and tell us and help us to know what we're talking about here.
Right.
We apologize.
Is Ricky Skaggs a blonde-haired guy? Or
Ricky
probably gray
Skaggs
now?
has totally white hair now.
Yeah.
It's all gray.
It might be Ricky Skaggs that played that festival.
Well, he's been up here a few
He's
times.
bluegrass and everything too. He's got
Oh
that. kind of-
gosh, he's huge bluegrass.
Yeah.
Bluegrass.
It might actually be him. Now that I'm thinking about it.
That's a great song, though. Man of Constant Sorrow.
Oh yeah.
He did Uncle Pen and
Yeah.
Country Boy. Oh my gosh, he brought bluegrass to another level.
Oh, absolutely.
Back in the 80s.
Well, and then you got these guys like Trampled by Turtles out of Duluth now playing it and just making a killing. They played Red Rocks and sold that out.
Wildly
I
popular.
mean, how?
Who's
Boy,
the Minnesota Wild correspondent? What's his name with the glasses? You know who I'm talking about?
No, Russo.
Russo. He is a huge Trampled by Turtles fan.
Oh my God, yes. He follows them everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like, and that's one of those things where I'm trying to figure out, like guys like Cody Jinks, Cody Johnson, these independent guys that are wildly famous right now.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how they're doing their thing, and how I can do my thing, similar yet myself, and make it big, or at least be able to make it full time.
Yeah, I can't think of a time, man, when in music, at least in my lifetime, when it's been more popular to be a guy that just kind of goes off the beaten path.
Right. And if you listen to like Jinx's stuff, it's so off the beaten path, but still country music.
Yep.
My favorite song of his is Loud and Heavy.
Yeah.
Just a friggin' low voice, deep growl, and just that's my style.
Gets you fired up.
Oh, I love that song. Just friggin' love it. That dude's awesome.
Well, what's on the agenda for you for? I mean, what is 22? We've talked a couple times now on the podcast about last year,
right,
and the challenges that you faced as a touring musician. But what is 21 looking like, and what does the future look like for you?
Well, we're shooting, hopefully as bars, get more open and everything like that. Obviously playing some bars, but I do have shows coming up this summer, like Pierce Freedom Fest. I'm going to play their pre-party up at Bootleggers Bar and Grill.
The Boot.
You're right. That's going to be a lot of fun. And just Pierce Freedom Fest, that whole weekend is a lot of fun. What was it? Blackhawk ended up...
one of my favorites.
Headlining one year. Neil McCoy headlined one year. I think even Montgomery Gentry headlined about 3 or 4
You heard of Montgomery Gentry?
Well, it's
Tom and T-Roy are old buddies.
It's just Montgomery now, unfortunately.
Right.
Isn't he still using both names though in the show?
I don't think so. I know he was the first year after T-Roy passed away. He was using it as Montgomery Gentry, but I think he's just Eddie Montgomery now.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something on Facebook last year. He's just doing
all those songs. That's a tough deal for him. He's a big guy and he drinks a little bit. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
We opened up for him over at St. Croix Casinos, Turtle Lake. And
okay.
He was happy. We have a picture with him and his bass player and his drummer. We're all kind of huddled up backstage, and
he must have been like, "Put that Jack Daniels away, son. We got some Jim Beam."
He's like, "You want to take a picture?" I'm like, "Hell yeah! All right, we'll take a picture." I was expecting him to be like, "You guys are small time, And he's like,
"No,
let's take a picture."
He ain't that way.
But you could tell his eyes were a little red, so he puts his sunglasses on. Everything. I'm like, oh boy, I don't think this iPhone's gonna catch your red eyes right now.
Well, I think when T-Roy was playing with him, I think T-Roy played the majority of the songs.
Oh yeah,
they kind of split it, but for Eddie now to be carrying the whole show by himself,
and it's kind of cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and what's funny is all like T-Roy songs. He'll sing a few of them, T-Roy songs,
right?
But then he's got like the keyboard player sing one.
Oh, does
the
he?
bass player will sing one, and then I can't remember who the other guy.
He'd have to,
but he had three different guys, and it was all just depending on what pitch the song was or what key they were playing it in. It was depending on which member of the band.
Yeah, because he's not even close to.
No, because he'd literally just sit there and bounce around.
I've heard him sing a couple of songs that T-Roy sang, and
he did it fabulous.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he sounded.
Does he still have his Beam sponsorship as a solo guy?
Don't know.
I don't know that.
You'd
anymore.
think that he would, because they were with him forever.
He still had it when he was playing, because we were playing. We opened up for him, I think, like about 6 months after T-Roy died.
Okay.
We were playing over at Turtle Lake, and their little concert bowl down below, and literally they had their prayer before their show.
Yep.
And I wasn't going to interrupt in that because we were still pulling our stuff off the stage, but they were just going up, kind of tuning up and stuff like that, and a few of them were still hanging out back, stretching and stuff like that. And I walked up to him, it's like, "Hey, I'm sorry about your brother," and he's like, "Thank you." He gave me this big old hug. I'm like, "Whoa, you're kind of a little teddy bear. What the hell are you doing? Give me a hug," But he was a really cool, down to earth guy, and then that's when he was like, "Hey, let's take a picture." What the hell? And we took that picture, and they fired up, and he went running up there. But he's just a really cool, down to earth guy, and
yeah, both of them were,
yeah,
iconic hat.
Yeah.
Yes, that hat, you'll never find that hat anywhere, and that jacket. Oh my freaking god!
That thing looks like it weighs 100 pounds.
It was 87 degrees, humid as hell.
I
It
know.
was an August day, and he's still wearing his full dress. I'm like, "You're nuts." It's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like,
It's his trademark.
"It's hot as hell out here." It's like, "Brother, I'm from the South. This ain't hot." I'm like, I was trying to use his voice there for a second, but it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, I know you're from the South and everything like that. But yeah, for us, I mean, I was wearing a button down. It was kind of a gray shirt, and you could tell by song 3 that I was sweating because it was just
soaked through.
Soaked. And it showed. That was my problem. I should wear a black one, but no, I was wearing gray, and literally it started from here and just.
But did you have an undershirt? Because that's the trick of the trade.
I always wear an undershirt. Come on.
Good man. You got to have an undershirt to catch that sweat so it doesn't get to your show shirt.
Yeah,
At least
it doesn't matter. It's still going to make it to the show shirt, but you're trying to minimize it. But it's an old kind of farmer's trick. The old A-frame or waist.
So that begs the question: did Kid George, did he wear tighty whities underneath his boxers?
Yeah, Kid G's not really a tighty whitey guy. He's a boxer brief guy, and I know this because
every once in a while a nut cup because people get rude.
Yeah, because obviously I, having worked with him for a decade, he wore his pants 1% of the time.
What pants?
Right.
I remember going to the doghouse one day, heading up to the stage to say hi to you guys. He comes and just gives me this freaking bear hug and
in his drawers.
Yes, just like, wow! We were that close, but all right.
That was it was like one of those things that he started early when we first took over for UTK. Is he would just take his take his pants off as kind of a humorous thing because he'd hang them up in the back of the DJ booth, so people in the bar would be like, "Are those his actual pants?" And after a couple of years, it got to be an expectation where if he didn't have those pants off by 11 o'clock at night, people are up there like, "Take your pants off!"
So hold on, it was actually utility.
If he wasn't walking around by 11:30 in the crowd without them on, it wasn't right.
Or less.
Wait, hold on. This was utility. He told me, he said Hog's Breath, the DJ booth, got so damn hot. Yeah. And because he stayed in there and Shane would walk around, he's like, "It's too hot." And he's like, "No one can see me."
It did, but there was a fan down there. There's no way.
Oh, he added that. He added that fan.
Big fan.
The metal one, yeah.
Well, that's just like when you're on stage, you got a nice big, fan down there, and people are always wondering, is that just a rock post? No.
That's for my Franken beans.
You adjust your pants leg just enough so you get the air up there so you're not sweating like
cool
crazy.
Down your Franken beans.
I can imagine a few listeners right now going, "I don't need to hear this crap."
Sorry. Trade secrets. I apologize.
Yeah, sometimes you got to let that little bit of inside intel, It's cool for people to get to see what's...
Now they're going to go to a concert and be like, "Is that what they're doing on stage? What the hell?" So I just kind of ruined their concert, experience the next, 5 years. But, it was funny because TC Summer Jam, their first one was 2019. And, Aerosmith, they're, Aerosmith is Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But
tough to work with.
Oh, my God. I heard all about that.
Really?
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they had to spend an extra $1 million on the stage because it had to be a certain size stage or something like that. And then, you know how they sold those VIP stuff up front and everything like that. Aerosmith was pissed because they wanted the crowd all around the stage. So literally, with half an hour before showtime, Aerosmith said, "Get rid of that crap. Get rid of the barriers and stuff like that. Let everybody up towards the stage."
You don't want to perform before Aerosmith. If you're going too long. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. What's his name? Will be pulling your plugs. He doesn't.
Steve Tyler.
Yeah. He. There's if you watch a documentary on the band Journey.
Yes.
Not the band Journey. Kansas.
And,
they toured with them, and they would actually put their plugs into fake outlets, and Stevie Tyler had enough of them, and he'd want them off. He'd go unplug. He was unplugging the wrong plugs.
No way.
Oh,
this is a real thing?
Terrible.
Kyle, have you seen this documentary? Probably a stupid question.
I have. It was when Kansas was playing in Kansas, so people wanted them to keep playing. Steven Tyler got pissed, and they actually set up a fake setup for him to go and unplug. So he was just furious about it. And they told him, "You will never do that to us." So, yeah.
And, a couple of them boys in Kansas, and I can remember which one of the coveralls, got right in his face, and he says, "You will never do that to us again." And Steven Tyler kind of backed down a little bit. But
you could see it all, his whole friggin' time on like MTV and VH1. He's a huge friggin' diva. But
he is a diva. Good word.
To have someone actually have the cojones to stand up to him, because he's only 5 foot, 6, if that.
He's a little guy.
I mean, he can't be more than about 90 pounds.
Well, I'm 5 feet from him when we're at TC Summer Jam because me and a buddy just so happened to be working with a company, and they just like, "Here, they take these tickets." I'm right in the front corner, and I'm just looking up. I'm like, "Dude, you're a tiny little dude," and he just. Yeah,
we all love the Aerosmith songs. We certainly do.
Absolutely,
I do.
Unbelievably talented dude.
I guess that's a good word to put it. He's a diva.
Yeah,
there's a lot of that on the big stage.
Their bass player, he was so freaking white. I don't know if it was the makeup or what the hell. I'm just like, okay, dude.
Liquid paper white.
Oh, he's scaring me just standing there on stage. I'm like, he's not going to keel over tonight, is he? He's just that white. I'm just like, whoa. But yeah, it's another one of those iconic bands we grew up listening to, and it's like, listening to them now, it's just like, wow.
I think we ought to add a segment to the show where we just bash some rock and roll bands.
That's right.
It happens. What do you do, right?
Well, yeah. Let's rope it back into 2021.
Right,
What's the tour schedule looking like?
But like I said, El Rancho Mañana Wild West show. I'm shooting for Moondance again this year. I played for 6 years straight with Copperhead Creek. We went up there every year, but going up there to play originals is a whole nother story. So
yes, it is.
I'm shooting to go up there this year, and what was it? There's one. There's a memorial ride for a gentleman. I can't remember if it's Specialist or Sergeant Ben Kopp. His wife, or not wife, but his mom Jill, puts on a memorial bike ride for it, and I'm going to be playing that this summer, which is I'm looking forward to, because I met his mom Jill down in Florida for another organization called Heaven Dropped. So a lot of veteran organizations that I've come in contact with and gotten to know over the years and stuff like that. Just like the Hometown Hero, the one you saw, bow fishing and stuff like that, and another one's Hunting with Soldiers. I could just go on and on about veterans groups out there, but it's one of those things I'm pretty passionate about. Every time I get a chance, I like to say their names because they're important.
Yeah,
and
of course they are.
They're keeping a lot of us above ground, which is important because the 22 a day is still something that's still very real.
Yes, it is.
It's still happening. So,
my wife and I worked an event up in Sauk Center.
Okay.
And my wife is in the studio. Lynn, what was the organization called? It was for veterans that were not adjusting very well in society.
Was that the Eagle's Nest?
The Eagle's Nest.
Yes, I've heard of that one as well. Yeah.
A gal runs that operation up there. They actually took over it was a school, and it was like, I don't want to say a hospital, but it's a huge facility.
Right.
Probably 120 acres up there, and We had Steve Miller's band.
Oh.
We had Travis Tritt's daughter. We had quite a few acts, and forgive me, I can't think of a lot of them, but it was so cool to interact with the soldiers that were there.
Absolutely.
Who attributed them still being alive to this young lady that started the Eagle's Nest.
Right.
The young gal had lost her husband and lost her son in the military, and she was rather tenacious, and she was upset with our government, as most of us typically are.
Oh, absolutely.
And they weren't doing anything for these people, and they had this facility in Sauk Center. It was just sitting there collecting dust, and well, when the soldiers come there, they're all assigned projects to do, painting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Carpentry work. So they got that place fixed up wonderful, and these people, they just have a really nice situation for them.
Absolutely.
Where they wouldn't survive anywhere else, and they've got fellow brothers that they can lean on, and they have group meetings. It's just, it was so cool to be a part of that deal. A couple of us from the We Fest, our production company with the Jumbotrons, they were there. Common World Productions, and Rob was there. And anyway, a bunch of us helped out. And that was very, very rewarding to see somebody really helping out the military guys, because certainly that's got to hit home with you. Are you familiar with the Eagle's Nest?
Yes, I am. Yep. And that's, it's like I was saying earlier, it's all these different organizations and stuff like that. Like I was saying, when we first started the show, is we all have our coping mechanisms. We all have our different ways of, coping, different ways of trying to get past it. And for me, this is mine. Music is how I can just get my stress out and get my point across, and just
I don't think you're the first entertainer in history to say that that's their go-to place,
Right.
That music is therapy.
Absolutely.
And whether you're performing it or just listening to it,
right.
Music is a universal language that's therapeutic for all of us.
And just the storytelling in country music, you can let go and put your story in a song or whatever you need to. And then there is a lot of other organizations where buy guitars, and we try and teach them how to play guitar.
Right.
Or, like I said, I was saying before, horses, take them to a ranch for a weekend and just have them get around horses. And, there's so many different ways for them to try and assimilate back into what we call real life. But it's just, just trying to get past all the horrors and everything that we've seen over there. It's a lot.
Probably hard to describe the horrors and things that.
Right.
I grew up in the Vietnam era,
and that's one thing. Every time I see a Vietnam guy, I always say thank you, because I know they've had it a hell of a lot worse than I do.
Yeah.
At least when I came home and got off the plane, I gotta thank you, and I had people, shaking my hand, where I know damn well they didn't, because
I had two brothers that served there. I missed the draft by 2 numbers. A lot of my high school friends were there, and
you must have been Bone Spurs.
Arched feet,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure I'd have gone by.
Oh yeah.
I just missed the draft.
You were playing baseball, weren't you?
I was playing baseball, and but that's no excuse. They ain't gonna say, okay, you're playing baseball. Yeah. You don't need to come.
But, you can pitch. But can you shoot?
Oh, they would have liked me. I was a real good marksman. But anyway.
Well, they always love us country boys because they know we can shoot.
That's
right.
To
the point, it's probably hard to convey the heartaches and the trauma that a guy goes through.
Yeah.
Being in any of the wars. Can't imagine. God bless you.
It's it's hard to come back home. Like about the first 3 months, I kind of welled myself up, and I was living in a room in my parents' place. I just wanted to come home. I didn't want to have my own place at the time, because I knew it was going to be kind of tough coming home.
Sure.
So I just kind of welled myself up in that room for about a good 3 months, drinking old Jack Daniels here, and just trying to medicate myself the wrong way. And
I've always looked at it, I don't know, with an objective point of view. The government seems to do real well at putting you into boot camp, training you for this lifestyle, getting you ready mentally, physically, and you're gung-ho, but they seem to kind of drop the ball when it's like time for you to decompress on your way out.
Yeah.
And that's too bad. I mean, it's a full circle deal, and they're kind of dropping the ball on the other end.
That's one of the things they're trying to get better at, but they're still not there. I mean, they're trying. When my last tour, when I came home, we spent 2 weeks in Camp Atterbury, which is in Indiana, which is our demob site, and trying to get everything jammed into 2 weeks, going through medical, going through legal, and just all the paperwork and everything we had to get done. It left literally no time for any kind of mental, But then again, you're still there with your brothers and sisters. And my second tour was reserve unit, and the minute that reserve unit hits the airport, you all go separate ways. And I was gone with a unit in Ohio, is who I went with the second time. So the main body, which is most of the soldiers, go back home to Ohio. And then you got, I think it was about 150 soldiers from Louisiana. Well, they're going to Louisiana. Then you got another 150 from Minnesota. Or you're going back to Minnesota. So we all just kind of scattered.
Yeah.
So you kind of lose that brotherhood and stuff like that the minute you land back home here. Where when it's active duty, you don't have to worry about it. You're going back to base. All the same guys are still sitting there.
Right.
So
you lose your family, and this is literally...
And that is your family.
You're at that impressive age. This is literally your way of life.
Right.
I mean, structured, strict. You get up, you do this, you do that.
Right. And
then all of a sudden, just to be ejected out of that and back into our way of life is like,
right.
I can understand the confusion, the emotions.
Right.
It's just amazing.
And then just having the war part side of it. So it took me a good 6 months, and then I finally, it took a little nudging, but I went out to the VA. I, talked to some people and stuff like that, which, it didn't help at first because you're stubborn. I mean, you go through basic training, you become a stubborn son of a gun, and you're just who are you are and everything. But
it's amazing how you have to be built up to be this
right.
unemotional, just rock human to go
Ruthless
do what
guy.
you did. But then somehow you got to come back and undo all that to get back into society, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't, there's no way to teach you how to do it. And there's no, bring you back down, but you just kind of there you go, have at it. And then, but it took them a while at the VA to kind of figure out how to do it, but they're getting a lot better.
Good.
They are getting a lot better, but we're still losing far too many. I can't tell if it's quite just the veteran Vietnam era that are still just...
I have to believe that President Trump was good for the military guys.
He was great.
He went to West Point. He was a military guy. And it infuriates me to see some of the presidents, some of the left-wing presidents that or any of the politicians that just don't care. And, they have no trouble sending them kids off to war.
Yeah, the war hawks.
And having other people's
they benefit from it.
Right, financially.
And
they don't care how much blood gets spilled.
I guess we could dwell on this this is kind of a sad part of the show here, and or maybe it's kind of a downer. So
I think it's powerful. I think it's powerful. I think that
it's real.
That we need to talk about veterans. We need to talk about how to take care of them, and I appreciate that. And Ryan, do you have anywhere that you support that you would love support from maybe our listeners? Because we're country. I'm turning into a hunting person. Don't tell anyone. But where could we help support this?
Probably one of my personal favorites. That's here in the Twin Cities. There's a few, but Tribute for the Troops. Obviously, they've been around for quite a long time. Rocky Lynn was one of the starters on that one.
Yeah, he's still doing his thing too. It's amazing to me.
He's a good guy. I like Rocky.
Another Army guy, so I'm one of my Army brothers, I like to say. But, you know, I liked supporting them. But then another one was the Hometown Heroes that you guys saw out there. You know, they're still pretty new, but the fact that, you know, they do the archery fishing, and this all winter long they were out there doing ice fishing. You know, just, you know, there's a lot of great groups like those two that are out there.
You know, there's certainly a lot of great functions and a lot of great organizations that are out there. And if there's any ex-military guys listening in, and man, I guess being a layperson, I encourage you to just get involved with these organizations like Eagle's Nest or DAV.
Absolutely.
And my wife and I support a couple of them that we see on television all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The Wounded Warrior Project, DAV, and
Hometown Heroes. That's what he's talking about.
Hometown Heroes, absolutely.
The big thing is kind of do your research on them too, because there's a few out there, you know, that can be maybe slightly shady. I hate to say that, being
Sure.
You know, because I am a veteran, but I also want to make sure that if I'm going to donate my time and my energy and my money, that I want to make sure it's
Right.
going for a right cause and a good cause.
I think everybody should. I haven't been on it, but everyone should research whoever it is they're donating money to.
Right.
And I understand, and Shane, you might know more than I, there's a website that you can go on, and it lists hundreds of these organizations, and it tells you what percentage of the money that you're donating is going where.
Yeah,
Right.
charities in general. So you can
Right,
do, it's like
exactly.
a charitable database,
Right.
where you can see what percentage of their donations go to the actual cause and how much of it goes to administrative fees and that kind of thing. Because like you said, RJ, you'd be shocked where it's like 75-80% of the money that they're taking in goes to administrative costs.
Yeah, legal fees and all that.
Just a small fraction of the money goes to.
Shane, do you know the name of that website?
Not off the top of my head, but I bet you we could get our team in there to look it up quick.
Yeah,
It's
Killer
just,
Kyle, if you can figure out.
I'm sure
it's
it's
like a database
something to
for
do with
charities.
the 501c3 or something like that.
Yeah.
There's got
because they have to report. They have
Right,
to legally report to
absolutely.
the IRS.
Absolutely.
You know how that money is being spent. So
And that's
Yes,
like I was saying, what was it? Heaven Dropped is another one. You know, it's based out of Florida, but you know, basically what they do is they help handicapped people or Down syndrome people. They give them a job. So basically, they turn old parachutes into like collars or masks or stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
there's all these different places, and it's just, you know, doing your diligence and you know, kind of figuring out how they're doing their stuff like that. But like for me personally, it's, you know, I've got a good buddy Chad who's in the Hometown Heroes, and he's the team lead here in Minnesota. I met him at basically my gym. We were doing a big workout at my gym at the CrossFit Beyond Sport in Princeton there, and they came up. They decided they wanted to come up, and part of our proceeds for that day was we handed off to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a good day. So,
GuideStar is one of the websites I'm seeing here where you can get the directory on different charities, nonprofit organizations. Still going to keep digging too.
okay, perfect.
So what is that called?
GuideStar.
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 Yeah, and there are. I mean, if you just kind of hit the Google machine, you'll see there are websites where they will break down. You can search certain
Percentages
Yeah, there's
and
like a
everything like
taskbar where you can search
Right.
to find out who's getting what.
I was going to say, I'm surprised there's not some big government website.
Bless you.
They love
Thank
having
you.
that stuff. Gesundheit.
Comes.
Yeah,
I
German
had to stop
phrase.
myself there. Woo! Almost forgot this is a PG-13 podcast.
All right.
Wait.
There's a not so PG-13 reply to that.
PG-13 What the heck?
I know.
That's not what you
Kind
told
of
me on the
operation.
phone.
Sorry, man. I had to do something to get you in here.
Yeah.
Not the pleasure of our company, that's for sure.
You got to remember I'm military, so it just kind of comes out when it comes out.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
I still have no filter all these years that I've been out. But
Yeah, well, Shane and I spent many, many years without a filter. I know I certainly did, and we're trying to be as professional as we can.
we're
these
flying
days.
it up nowadays.
I'm testing a few out. I don't know if I picked one I like yet.
I'm quite sure there are people that are tuning in. They're going, well, I remember Tomcat, and I remember Shane doing this and that and that.
They probably don't believe it's us.
Yeah, they're probably going, well, they're boring. No.
It's one of those. I hit the cup. I hit the cough.
There it is.
I think you sat on it.
It's kind of sitting behind this pillow here.
It's also a sneeze button. I just showed you that.
Yeah, I know. But it's one of those where we remember, all those years back on the Monday nights and stuff like that. So they're wondering if you're not drinking enough of this, that it's just not free flowing.
Oh, he's getting his fair share. Yeah, we don't slow down there.
I just had to throw that out there. I'm just having fun. So.
Well, I tell you what, boys, as much fun as this has been, we got to bring this thing in for a landing.
Shane, we got to get together. We've had a lot of country music guests on the show. We're going to have a busy summer.
We are.
Going and watching your show, RJ, and maybe Heidi and some of the other folks we've had on.
We've got quite a board back there behind Jill and Lynn with
very busy.
Essentially, we've got just about a full year's worth of guests already up there, and
we got some great guests coming up.
Absolutely, I'm seeing some of those.
We got a great guest in here today.
Yeah. I'm just seeing all those hunter names up there, and I'm going to be looking forward to that because I need some tips. The old hunting isn't going so lately.
Yeah, we got you, my man. We got you covered.
Absolutely.
Well, RJ, thanks a lot for coming in, man.
Absolutely.
And aside
Thanks
from
for
my personal feelings of getting to hang out with you again, which has been great.
Absolutely.
It's cool to get you in here telling your story and talking about not just the military, which is a huge part of your heart, I know, but your musical background and influence and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we encourage you folks. RJ Graff, man. If you see him around town, you see his name out there, go and see him. You won't be disappointed.
Tell folks where they can find you online.
I was just going to say, come on up and say hi. Don't be a stranger because I'm the shy one. You got to come up and say hi to me most times. But rjgraff.com, or if you look up Facebook, facebook.com/rjgraffmusic. And I believe it's RJ Graff Music on Instagram as well.
And it's 2 F's in Graff.
2 F's. That's
People got to remember that.
Golf, Romeo, Alpha, Foxtrot.
Yep, there we go.
I even remember it.
Folks, great when your brain works once in a while, I tell you.
Very once in a while.
That alphabet is probably easier than the old one, Just 8 years of it instilled into your brain.
There you go.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Boots and Backstraps, folks. Don't forget to send us your questions and or comments to bootsandbackstrapspodcast@gmail.com. And we will be filtering through those and maybe feature a few of those on a future episode. If you're interested in joining us in studio, you can send messages there as well. And, of course, we are still looking at sponsorships. So we're talking to a few companies, and one of them in the glass here, potentially working something out there and other opportunities. So if you are interested in sponsoring, you can send emails to that same Boots and Backstraps podcast@gmail. But Tom, let's bring this plane in for a landing, my friend.
Hey, folks. It was so great to have you here with us again today. We encourage you to check us out again next week. So whether you're belting out your favorite country song or pursuing your favorite game animal, I encourage you to use that same passion to pursue the Lord. He'll teach you to shoot straight. We'll see you next week. Come on now.
Crow River Creek. 10 legs waiting to work, weeks over blue lights at the corner flake. Now the boys pull up in their fancy trucks and the girls in their daddy's Jeeps. Got a little honey maker, a hottie high breaker, come on, go ride with me. If you got a big truck, jack it up. If you got a cold beer, drink it up. If you got some country, turn it up, turn it up. If you got a tractor, crank it up. If you got a bonfire, light it up. If you're getting redneck, turn it up, turn it up. Getting buck wild, wearing mossy yoke, tearing up the alfalfa field. Tailgates dropping, the bonfires high like a coon dog on a trail. Well, Haley Jones dancing, mama don't know, stuck out here raising hell. Now there's just one rule here, anything goes, and what goes we'll never tell. If you got a big truck, jack it up. If you got a cold beer, drink it up. If you got some country, turn it up, turn it up. If you got a tractor, crank it up. If you got a bonfire, light it up. If you getting redneck, turn it up, turn it up. We got the trucks with the big wheels, party in the cornfield, speakers bumping all the way up. Turn it up. Dixie Dimes with their boots on, we gotta get our drink on. Right. Tailgate down, but we turning it up. Miller Lite, high life, and a little bit of moonshine. Duffels, bell buckles, ass kicking in the moonlight. Redneck remix, Kane gonna bring it, bonfire gonna burn it. We all gonna sing it, yeah. Yeah. Now turn it up. Yo, RJ, talk to him, sir. This is for the country girls in the backyard. This is for the country boys in the big trucks. This is for the country crowd getting down. So come on, come on, come on. If you got a big truck, jack it up. If you got a cold beer, drink it up. If you got some country, turn it up, turn it up. If you got a tractor, crank it up. If you got a bike,